Fresh in the gate, bag gear, blank slate. You and your Illuvials, hungry, not great. Boots on the stone, hands on the rail. First slam in the arena, first hard fail. They read your move, then broke your line. One clean strike and you fell every time. Dust on your face, grin still alive. You said run it back just to survive. Round after round you stayed in the fire. Every scar taught you higher, higher. You learned their feints, their breath, their pace. You learned how to lose without losing your place. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. They knocked you down, you got back up. Now you drink that pain like a champion cup. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. From the floor to the crown, you don't stay down. New scars stacked up on your name. Bad brackets, bad draws, same old shame. Your Illuvial shook, then stood again. Little by little they learned to win. One move left when the trap got set. One took the hit, never blinked yet. You stopped chasing glory, started to build. Slow hand, sharp heart, iron will. And after round you stayed in the fire. Every fall turned the spark a little brighter. You learned their feints, their breath, their pace. You learned how to lose without losing your place. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. They knocked you down, you got back up. Now you drink that pain like a champion cup. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. From the floor to the crown, you don't stay down. Long nights, long walks back, salt in your mouth, cracks in the track. Then one clean break, one perfect call. Your team moved like one and they took it all. No more panic, no more please, just calm in the blaze, eyes on the keys. The crowd went wild when your name hit high. You looked at the ring like, this is mine, mine, mine. This is mine, 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 mine. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. They knocked you down, you got back up. Now you drink that pain like a champion cup. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. From the floor to the crown, you don't stay down. Champion, no, you rise. Champion, now, you rise. The bruises were proof you came through. Gate down, eyes up, we came to play. One last hit, then we all say, close by close, we hold our line. Steel in the breath and fire in the mind. No empty throne, no lone wolf run. Every hard round brings us as one. Hear that shout, it rolls through the floor. One more clash, then we want more. Shoulder to shoulder, we rise in the glow. Tightest fight makes the whole room grow. Stand as one, stand as one. Close battle, still we come. Stand as one, stand as one. We fight hard, then we build this home. Stand as one, stand as one. Right turn and near miss spark. One clean break, then back to the dark. Tiny margins, big brave hearts. One shared win from a dozen starts. New names, old friends, same battle cry. We learn your moves and we cheer you by. When the dust sets, we stay in the ring. Win or lose, we still fear that shout. It rolls through the floor. One more clash, then we want more. Shoulder to shoulder, we rise in the glow. Titus fight makes the whole room grow. Stand as one, stand as one. Close battle, still we come. Stand as one, stand as one. We fight hard, then we build this home. Stand as one, stand as one. Every hand keeps lifting someone. Stand as one, stand as one. We play for the league, we play for the bond. From first sparks to final calls, we trade the scars, but we don't fall. Your name, my name, one steady flame. Across this field, we're more than a game. Stand as one, stand as one. Stand as close battle, still we come. Stand as one, stand as one. We fight hard, then we build this home. Stand as one, stand as one. Every hand keeps lifting someone. Stand as one, stand as one. This league is our home. This league is our soul.
All right, hello, welcome everybody back to some Illuvium Arena House League. We have a couple of matches underway with a bunch of our regulars. Looking forward to seeing everybody in action. Everybody's still pursuing the growth of their collection, whether it be leveling up their arena team, or whether it be getting more Illuvials potentially to throw into deathmatch a little bit later. How you use them does not matter to me. However, it's what everybody's going to be fighting for here, and keeping this in a close quarters battle, taking all the players, putting them into divisions based off of their collection level, their potentially their skill level as well. That way nobody can make the excuse like we would see in ranked, where I only lost because this person has 20 levels on me. No, we're trying to get as close to perfect matchmaking as we can here through Illuvium Arena House League. Looking forward to this, as always, as every single Friday. Personally, a little bit under the weather, so if I do choke up a few times on the microphone, I do apologize. Going to try my best to be on top of that mute button, though, as always. And, of course, hello to everybody nice and early here in the chat. Good to see ya. Ethan, good to see ya. Sota, Texan, good to see you all. Tallulah, good to see you all here today. Looking forward to seeing, I believe all of you, actually, will be on the battlefield at some point today. So going to be looking forward to this one as well. There's Robert Tacho as well. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. I think you're already set up and good to go. I did make the call out for our Carablu Cup lobby, which of course this is our, I hesitate to call it newcomers, because at this point here, a lot of our players in the Carablu Cup have been around for at least a little while. It's just a matter of getting the levels in and not necessarily having the time to grind as crazy as we see some of the top players in our community. So at this point here, Ethan and Robert Tacho going to be battling it out up next in our Carablu Cup lobby. They've been around for a little bit, and slowly but surely they're on that borderline, actually, of potentially graduating into Lynx League very, very soon. I know, I believe if I go strictly off of collection score, I think Ethan might have a couple more weeks to be in Carablu, and then they'll be, I guess, our first player, our longtime player, that's graduated from Carablu Cup into Lynx League. Because I hesitate to say the first player, because technically, if I wanted to be really specific, Blazin played 1 week in Carablu Cup and then went into Lynx League the other week. But that was a balance failure on my point. I put him into too low of a division. So I don't know if you want to count that as the first. If you want to, go ahead. That's totally fine if you want to. But that's something a little different. In regards to our players, we're basically ready to go. Carablu Cup, so we'll get started here in just a second. But I also just want to introduce the schedule here for today's battles. We do have... Oh, I forgot my light. I kind of need that. Otherwise, this is going to look weird. There we go. Now I'm not snowing. Perfect. So let's see. Move this over ever so slightly. This is our schedule here for today. Of course, Ethan and Robertaccio about to take to the field here in the Carablu Cup. Get us warmed up a little bit. I know it's just the two of them, but I want to thank them for joining the action no matter what here. And winner of the match still gets to move up into the Lynx League. So definitely still something to fight for, even though it's just the two of them. Right after that, of course, is going to be the Lynx League. That is going to be Mothpuck, our monster, going to be joining us alongside Blazin', Illuvium Hunter, Tallulah from Bond, Zajac Wildfire, Awake Darkness 69, and then unfortunately here, right at the last possible moment, we realized Stinky Pinky had a different account that was way more powerful. They brought it up. It's not like they're trying to be sneaky. No, nothing like that. But they were, they put the wrong account in and they were actually way too powerful. So unfortunately for this week, they're going to have to end up sitting on out. In fact, technically, they would be up here, because they are in the 2400s, if I recall correctly. So put them on the wait list for the time being. I mean, potentially here, maybe we can even get both of our Carablus to move up into the Lynx League, but then they're still just fighting to see how many packs do they end up getting now here for Carablu Cup, and then the community rescue, of course, to try and find some of those Illuvials that they've yet to capture. Had a couple people coming on through here. We have Hector, Mothpuck in chat here. Good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you both in action sometime soon here. Now, please do let me know in chat if at any point that I'm lagging out like crazy. For whatever reason, my OBS seems to be a little bit funky here today, at least on display, but I'm not sure if it's translating into the stream itself. Would love to know, maybe there's something I do need to fix there, so we'll see moving forward. Now, again, the prizes. This was a little bit of an odd spot. Again, sorry, Carablus, we'll get going in just a second, I promise. But with the auto drone runs randomly getting turned off by Illuvium, again, I've expressed my opinion on that through This Week in Illuvium. I'm not going to rehash it too much. All I got to say is it's stupid. But we've thankfully do now have an alternative where I'm going to be opening the Illuvial packs through Deathmatch instead of the old auto drone run style. So at least there, it has the bulk opening option, so we can get everybody done nice and quick. But then we're looking at pixelated variants of our favorite Illuvials instead of the beautiful arts and the beautiful 3D models that we're so used to seeing. But it can still happen. So what happens for the players? Nothing has to change. You're still going to be receiving the Illuvials exactly as you would when Auto Drone Run was live. The only thing that's different is just on my side. I have to send them from Deathmatch to the Illuvidex, then to you. So there is some more room for, I guess, lag and delays. I know from Deathmatch to Illuvidex, sometimes there is like big lag or big delays that happen for that process. So you'll have to bear with me for it. But all the prizes basically for this week, as well as last week, will be happening next Wednesday. So we'll get a double dose here. I have everything documented, so I know exactly who's owed what. I have it highlighted here in the red, so I know like these haven't been given out just yet. So we'll get all caught up there. Alright, my Carablus have been patiently waiting, and I thank you for doing so. If both of yous are good and set to go, we'll fire away here in just a second. Snag that code, why don't we? And we'll get the lobby started. No problems on your end, so okay, maybe it's just my OBS showing me the blinking red light of death for no reason. And all is good. Knock on wood that it's just a visual and not an actual performance issue. All right, they should be getting started in just a moment. We'll join them, of course, in just a moment as well. Then in regards to Lynx League, of course, that's going to be happening right after this. I am going to offer both of the players in Carablu Cup, regardless of the results here in Carablu Cup. If both of you want to take the stab at being the underdog, but having the chance of maybe snagging some more prizing, I invite you both to join us for the Lynx League battle. This way we can get a full lobby going in the Lynx League as well. And then, of course, we have the Monarch Masters after that. Winner of Lynx League moves into Monarch Masters, and then, God forbid, somebody cannot show up for the Monarch Masters. We do have Squawk, Zyfet, and Stinky Pinky on standby in case they need to fill in. I don't think I've even introduced our Monarch Masters here for today's matchup. Of course, we do have, still looking for win number 1, but still has probably the beautiful, or the best collection score of the entire game, from what I understand. That's going to be Bon Daddy Ratty. Short to follow going to be Dr. Spoon. Texan going to be joining us here for the very first time. And if I recall correctly with Texan, I think back to the Illuvium Pro League and the initial cutoff, I believe it was the top 48 to try and get into that final. And I do believe Texan was like player number 49. They were stupid close at actually being able to get in. And then they register and give me the address. And I'm like, okay, Texan's been around for a little while. Anytime that there's like something to fight for, they're always here. And I'm thinking, okay, they're probably like upper mid-tier. I look at their collection score. It's like, oh, damn, they're probably one of the best collection scores in the community. So I'm looking forward to seeing Texan here today. We've got Hector going to be joining us as well, always a Monarch Masters regular. And then Drek Nyen waking up early here to join us for the Monarch Masters here as well. Big thank you to Drac. Of course, that's After Hours Gaming, if I recall correctly, for their own YouTube channel. In fact, they streamed, just finished a stream 5 hours ago. They're one of the few people still actually streaming this game. Good on you, Drac. Good luck in your match, of course, later. No Catcho going to be joining us here, as well as Wolverine 777 Hype. And while they may have the lowest collection score, they've won these things before, so do not sleep on Wolverine. Feels bad, man. Yes, Texan, sorry to reopen an old wound now that I think about it. But if anything, it just shows that we know you've got the fight in you. And I look forward to seeing it. Very, very much so. All right, so our Carablus are going to kick us off. So as it stands right now, because it's just the two of them, we're going to be a little bit more so on cruise control, a little bit more so in regards to just the overall state of Illuvium rather than just breaking down every single game. But of course, to introduce our players here once again to longtime viewers of the Illuvium Arena House League, this matchup is basically as common, as old as Slashin versus Umber. Well, it's Ethit versus Robert Tacho. That is going to be our battle here once again for the Carablu Cup. Both of these players right on the borderline of graduating out after having about a month or month and a half of House League matches, slowly but surely getting upgrades, whether it was through the starter deck system or whether it's been the way it is now with the new Silence House Community Rescue, being able to consistently upgrade their Illuvial team, getting Illuvials just by playing the game, and it's just awesome seeing their battlefield tactics grow as well as their skill and as their collection. But this is something we do see very often. We did see Ethit absolutely run over this match, but pause. This is Ethit's playstyle. If I've seen how Ethit plays throughout this entire Illuvium Arena House League, it's a little bit of controlled spending early, but not reckless, getting a nice win streak going early, and then sit at level 7 and build up a monstrosity of a credit bank for themselves and go for one final push kind of near the end. Meanwhile, with Robert Tacho, they play, oddly enough, kind of similar to me in a sense, where they're completely A-okay with taking a beating in the early game, but then saving up those credits and then just getting the maximum amount of interest. And in a game where there is a lot of bots here as well, where you're not going to get punished as hard, you can get away with it. If this was a lobby with eight actual people, it's a little bit scarier to do. But when there is so many bots onto the field, you can make that choice and try to go for it. It's not a guarantee. The bots can still absolutely crush you, but Robertacho able to make the late game happen usually much more often than not, to the point where I believe they are our Carablu Cup win leader. Ethan getting on the board though a couple of times, and as of late has kind of had Robertacho's number. We'll see where it goes from there. In regards to the current state of the game, let's take a look at our two players. And again, Robertacho going for a similar playstyle to what I would do here. We do have the Earthgrass Scepter coming on through for a little bit of corner comp, maybe Enchanter, maybe Mystic. But either way, a bit of a defensive comp more than likely with that Earthgrass Scepter. Then on the contrary here with Ethan, we do have the Galewind Bow. It's going to be your air fighter weapon. Having that fighter side of things does open the door to Behemoth, and Behemoth is pretty strong right now. However, it is more so used with the Inferno, the 6 fire kind of builds. Seeing the Galewind Bow showing up here doesn't necessarily lean me thinking that way, but it is an option. The region for this matchup is going to be Sanctum Mesa, where you just have a better opportunity of finding the weapon that you want, thanks to one more additional reroll. So on all of the rounds, whether you want to switch the weapon a little bit later, or whether you want to just stick with what you have, you get that choice nice and early. I'm going to take a peek at Robertacho's team here, as we do have the TNT online. That's going to be very early Granite, but a problem with early Granite builds is a lot of times the units that use that early Granite are all backline units. So the Granite doesn't truly get utilized until the later game once the Goliath actually comes online. And we're seeing this as of right now. The TNT is trying its damnedest, but it is going to get chopped down here by the bot, because the bot's averaging out about level 22. Meanwhile, our players, of course, anywhere from just in the Carablu Cup starting off from level 1 to potentially all the way up to, say, around level 20, 25, I believe is kind of our average for our Carablus. So they may be bots, but do not sleep on them. And especially as of late, I don't know if they've changed anything with the bots and how they actually play the game, but they've actually made some pretty nasty combinations over the last couple of weeks. I remember, I think it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago, we had Yin Wildfire in here, and they got taken down before the top 4 because a bot somehow had, I think, Mud +4 Berserker. It was one of the nastiest teams I've seen a bot actually produce. And it's like, okay, Yin, don't feel bad about this. That's a tough team. I don't blame you in the slightest. It's a crazy squad to have to go after here. And of course, the current meta in regards to the arena as a whole, you'll hear me leaning towards 6 fire. You'll hear me saying probably Inferno a lot. Both of those team compositions, well, it's basically the same team composition, tend to bleed into each other and tend to just absolutely wreck everybody's day. 6 fire especially seems to be in a very, very good spot. Mystics are short to follow. If 6 fire is the offensive side of things, Mystics is the defensive side. And those two teams can essentially go back and forth with each other pretty consistently. However, everything else is definitely having a hard time. Not because there's certain teams that aren't good, but just those two teams are overperforming. And I'm definitely hoping for a balance patch sometime soon. Based off of my talks with the developers, they do sound like they're ready to do a balance patch sometime soon. And based off of their notes and the data, it does look like we are potentially going to be seeing a shot to 6 fire and Mystics, which should hopefully bring everybody else up. Because there's a lot of comps that are good, but just those two were fantastic. So I look forward to the next couple of weeks, hopefully seeing a patch like that and seeing how that re-aggravates the space as a whole in terms of creativity. Does that potentially allow for my Scions to actually do something? Do we see rogues maybe jump up a little bit more since they're not being out DPS or out damaged anymore by 6 fire? Or are they going to still be kind of like a a riskier team where if more than one player is going after it, are they going to fall off? Do we see fires? Do we see the rise of Steam Harbinger, of course, with the Umber coming back? All teams that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing once again. I'm just looking forward to seeing what the patch ends up bringing us. Now, Robertacho definitely taking a lot of heat early on, but that is the playstyle. I don't imagine they're sweating too much here, but 52 HP now is definitely a little bit worse for wear. But let's take a look at the economy side of things for them. As of this moment, we do see the big snail online. Seaforus is here, and it's all maxed out on Omega power. So this little snail is going to hit like an absolute truck, and they were able to get that while still staying above 50 credits. So they're still going to be getting a pretty significant amount of interest on every single round. So it's not a bad spot overall here, as long as they can truly utilize it. We do see, I was going to say, they could even have Granite Invoker online, but they did actually make a weapon switch, went over to Granite Aegis instead, but the Aegis is not going to be online right now because Archie is not evolved, or not to Archos just yet. So this snail is going to just try and ramp up as best as possible. You do have the Echoing Force reactor on top of it, so it's snowballing additional attack damage, but the attack of the snail is very slow. But on the contrary, as we're seeing big damage coming out there from the Seaforus, that singulating Omega reactor being able to steal Omega power every single time you cast, makes you a pseudo invoker without actually being invoker, which is quite nice. NPC round, let's take a look on the other side. So one thing that does open the door here now for Ethan, as they've hit level 6, have not lost a round just yet. First off, Squiddy coming on through here. Good to see the Squids come out to play. And in fact, they could have Shock relatively early here if things are going their way. They currently have Shock and looking for Behemoth, but again, you need either the fully evolved Polar Bear or you need the fully evolved player. So that's going to end up being the Seer in that instance. Here, this guy up here. We'll take a look at Ethan in just a second. Of course, optimal time to be kind of playing that playstyle, given that there is nobody else contesting Ethit for the Behemoth units, would be when you get to level 8, I believe. Whether you're at 8 or 9, you can make it work either way. So let's take a look and see. Lots of levels coming on through here from a handful of the bots. But let's look at Ethit's team here. So again, with this beautiful Singe coming on through here, offensively sound, defensively not bad either. Actually pretty good. Nice little Singe here for Ethit. The Shock is going to come raining down for air as well, so this is going to be a tough squad to hit, assuming that there is no true sight on the opposing side. And then again, with Shock being here, Shock right now is probably the meme affinity to go for in most scenarios, where you're just so confident that you go Shock because the damage is very negligible. We'll see when the Thunder comes down here. These are stage 1 units, and it barely maybe took a quarter HP away, and it goes away very, very quickly. It's nice that it keeps raining on through, but it does essentially negligible damage. Or even say Shock 4, the damage is very negligible. So that's one of the affinities I'm hoping gets a buff in this next patch, because considering how hard it is to actually hit Shock, it's basically just as hard, if not no, it's basically just as hard as trying to hit for Mud, but it doesn't give you anywhere near the reward if you actually do hit it. So I'm hoping to see a change here, as there we go. We have our 2 players now going to be battling it out here in just a moment. Oh wait, Darkness here in the chat. Good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Only Dr. Spoon can play Shock with his OP collection. And yeah, that's just a level diff, right? If you have the level diff, you could play whatever you want, and it's not going to matter. But it's too bad, because it's such a satisfying team to actually watch. If only it was super, super strong. Now, Robertacho versus Ethan. Robertacho going up to level 7, doing a ton of rolling. They are at like 9 credits now. So with all of that money or credits spent, they need to get a good shot here right off the rip. The Seaforus is going to take a little bit of time to actually get winded up, because it's not technically Invoker just yet. But we do see that the Alfie was here as well. We're going to put the pressure here onto the squiz, but if anything, it's just a low enough damage, because Alfie doesn't do actually much in regards to burst. It's just like low sustain. You don't really start feeling it until it's really a sin-off. But that Seaforus is making up for that in droves, and the Twine being there just being an absolute nuisance as well, with all those underroots just consistently stunning up the backline. That is going to allow for Ethit to finally take their first loss here. Robert Tacho, this is the time to turn around. They did spend a ton, but this is what I'm worried about. This is why I'm not worried about Ethit. If anything, I'm still worried about Robert Tacho, because like I was saying, Ethit will sit at level 6 or level 7 and just load up on credits until they truly find the kill shot kind of moment to really go in. So right now, still with over 124 credits, and it's an extremely like greedy and patient play style. But again, you're not necessarily being pushed, you're not being punished, so you can absolutely get away with it here. Let's see if these bots can maybe start fighting back. Maybe if it starts signaling over here to Ethan, that might be time to go. We do see the Relentless Lynx coming out to play a pretty nice one as well, especially offensively. Level 41 at that, but can it do or deal with this outnumbered situation? Phase Breaker has already been blown, so that will be the shot and taken down. Just a matter of dealing with the support line. So Ethit's greedy plays gotten them a gigantic credit bank, but they need to start moving sometime soon. The Quinks is going to be the first thing evolved into, it looks like. Sinoff coming through for the bot, so Robert Tacho's Alfie is going to be contested ever so slightly thanks to one of the bots. And there is genuinely a lot of water being used for a lot of these bots here, which thankfully Robert Tacho is going for more of a Scion-based build and not just a water-based build. Otherwise, they could be just running into a brick wall over and over here. Let's take a look and see how Robert Tacho's team is looking in this instance here. They've nearly gotten themselves all the way to 7 Earth, which Earth in general has been kind of seen as a rather underwhelming team composition over the last couple of months. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Robert Tacho can pull this off with a more of a bunker kind of composition. I know we saw Eris Seaworth try to do this last week during the Lynx League and had a handful of good wins. However, they did end up falling out a little bit early. Just unfortunately, the 7 Earth didn't necessarily pull through. But right now here in Carablu Cup, Robert Tacho is making it work. Just a consistently ramping up Seaforus. We have the Hyper Force Reactor. Again, I was telling you how the snail just has such a slow auto attack. Well, I mean, they're trying their damnedest to make this thing actually shoot. So that's kind of impressive to see. You're going to be moving things over here to Alfie, oddly enough, as we head into this NPC round. Now, Robert Tacho did spend basically all the way down to 9 credits at one point, but they have rebuilt up at least a little bit of a bank at this point here, all the way up to 46. There'll be a little bit more now that this NPC round is concluding. Probably closer to 70, so in a pretty good spot. Ethit's been staying comfortably above 100, now at about 140, now that the NPC round has finished. And it's just a matter of what gets added as of this moment. Big Mammoth online here for Ethit, so it's one of the Tempest Illuvials coming on through. But the Kookaloo is not here, so we'll probably not see any Tempest actually online, unless, I mean, you could probably do something with the bow if you wanted to, but we don't see that very, very often. In regards to Robert Tacho, down to about 70, what are we looking for? It looks like we have a attempt at an Exalted App-on. We're one App-on away from being able to get that one. But what would we be going for? Yeah, I'd be very, very interested to see. Allura has joined the squad, so now that is going to be 7 Earth online, which is going to allow for a bunch of additional defenses through the mitigation on every single Illuvial, but it's also going to reflect some of that mitigation as damage back to opponents when you get hit. So you can whittle down the opposing team as they whack away at you, and especially if they're going for attack speed, they'll just take more damage just that much faster. However, with all of that defense as well, it could buy some time for this backline to truly get souped up, especially looking at that Alfie, looking at that Seaforus. Can it blow a hole through the defenses of the bot, for instance, here, and deal with this Ranger? Lots of shots coming through the Ranger from the bot, actually diving on over right to the rogue-chipped Adorito. Just kind of a flanking elk. You don't see that every day. Trying its damnedest up against them. But Seifer is still relatively healthy, but the Alfie does fall. This Ranger is just an absolute nuisance. But I think in an overtime scenario, Robert Tacho, with all this mitigation, might actually be able to pull through nicely. Sure enough, going to be able to do so. Now here's the battle that we're all waiting for. Ethan versus Robert Tacho. Ethan now level 7. We do have a couple of upgrades coming on through. Revo going to be joining us a little bit late, but joining us nonetheless. That is going to add Dust. This is a big pickup now, actually. Sinoff now being added into the fray now allows for Invoker to come through naturally. And while Invoker takes a long time to wind up, neither of these teams are going 6 fire. So you're not going to get bursted as heavily as you would in a traditional ranked game, which does open the door up a little bit more for Invoker to actually come through. I'm personally going to keep an eye on this Sinoff. We'll keep a look at that pink little wave symbol right down here, the amount of Omega power that it gains throughout this match. Let's take a look and see how this one ends up going. Started up around 200, but every single time, of course, those Scions cast, or the Invokers cast, they do essentially buff the Omega power of their other Invokers, just make it hit that much harder. But it's just a matter of staying alive. The longer this match goes, the longer the battle goes, the stronger these shots will be. And especially with Sinoff, considering it hits every target in its path, it could be huge. And it is going to finally eventually go down because the rest of the front line jumped on it. But Robert Tacho's still in a great spot. That Seifer is right there behind the Archos. And heck, even the Krunk's still standing tall alongside the Apon. So Robert Tacho, this is the point where we've seen them before start to spin it around, turn it around, and they very well could take control of the match if Ethan doesn't pull the trigger. We do see a little bit of shots fired, rather, though. Ethan did pick up and spend a bunch of credits. Level 9 now online. We have the Swarm. This is just straight Zerganet on this battlefield as of this moment. But where do you go from here? Another Mammoth online? Could we potentially be seeing Mamu come through here for Ethan? Because I don't think Robert Tacho is going for the Mammoth. That's going to be offline, it looks like. So Harbinger potentially could be a way that Ethan can take this. 6 air right around the corner. There is Tempest online. What did they do to actually get Tempest online here? Was it the Ranger? I'm guessing that's probably what they would have had to have done. But yeah, this is just a straight up disruption and irritation team coming on through here from Ethan with what I imagine they're going to be shooting for a 6th air unit. We do see the Squiz on the bench. I imagine that's what this is for. So eventually when Ethan needs to, I imagine they'll spend everything they can to go to level 10, maybe throw the Squiddy onto the field here, get 6 air. That way you're getting just additional dodge chance, making it so stupid difficult to actually hit these units if you don't have something like Disruptive Force Reactor to get True Sight. Or they could go a complete other direction like we are seeing in just a moment's time, where the Furiox has actually been added in to this team as well. I mean, can't go wrong. It's a solid DPS unit. But this is going to be a tough one. This bot actually has made a very scary team. 8 water plus tsunami, including a jump scare geyser. That thing had a rogue chip on it. That's kind of hilarious, actually. The little Scorpion, not the little Scorpion, that's a Rip Lance. That's a big old Scorpion going directly towards the Relentless Lynx. The Lynx will be able to actually take that one down. So the Mammoth standing tall, using all of that Tempest buff to its advantage as long as possible. But we are going to see the bot actually take care of Ethan. This is where Robert Tacho, for the first time here in this game, is going to be able to make the pass and get into the 2nd place spot overall. But first, in regards to our actual players here this time. And this is the scary thing too. Unlike in the past, like if you were maybe just joining us for the first time after, say, 2-3 months, I know air did used to actually give energy resistance. That is not the case anymore. This is a similar setup to what we had back in the Illuvium Pro League, which is a way better system. But it does dodge now. And what kind of attack does not care at all about dodge abilities. Specifically, Scion abilities. They absolutely don't care at all. So while Ethit's build is probably pretty solid versus most of these bots and dealing with all these auto attack based builds, then you're going to run into Robert Tacho, and the Sephirus's missiles doesn't care about your dodge chance. The Sinolf does not care about your dodge chance. It's going to hit you anyway. So this build here from Ethit, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use as much of its utility as I'm sure that they were wishing they could. 70 credits here to Ethit, sitting at level 9. Similar situation. Both these players are actually completely dead even. What do we have for credits and what do we have for upgrades? This is actually kind of scary here for Robert Tacho. In terms of the upgrades that they could be potentially going for, we have an Exalted Apon and a Archelian. Meanwhile, on the other side that we do see here with Ethit, we do see what? Potentially getting Singe online. Potentially a fully evolved Mammoth. Maybe even looking more so towards the Scoriox. Some higher tier, scarier units. The first casts from these Scions are going to all be completely disrupted as well. The Goliath online there from Ethit, just adding even more disruption in the form of that big ol' stun. But meanwhile, on the other side, Robert Tacho did add a little Fern. Of course, that Twist Wing is going to be able to disrupt everything as well, but it does not any longer slow attack speed. So that Scoriox to Furiox is going to be able to continue to open fire rather nicely. And Robert Tacho looking like they've been able to withstand all these charms coming out here from the Quinks. And they will be able to slowly but surely just keep ramping up. And with the help of the overtime pulses, we're going to knock Ethit down to within kill shot now. 12 HP left here from Ethit. And they very well could end up going down here if things don't go their way. But I imagine it's time to spend. With over 50 credits still to go, can we find some upgrades potentially here for Ethit in this last dire kind of scenario? We are going to see level 10 come on through, get the Singe onto the field. That's a relatively safe play. And we're one snake away from potentially scoring the Scoriox. It's right around the corner. Just needs one more, but they've used everything they've had to be able to roll, and it did not hit. 3 credits left. They could sell some things if they want to, but it's a very risky play if they do. So let's ride along here with Ethit. Can they deal with bot number 2, who's gone for a Spore-based build alongside this Blazonite to try and deal with Ethit? A little bit of pressure here for the Mammoth in particular to be dealing a bunch of damage, getting some solid stuns potentially, and still all of the damage augments, or even the utility ones, onto the Relentless Lynx. So it's going to be a scary spot here, considering the Lynx is one of the big carries, but it looks like right now Ethit's been able to hold the line rather nicely. Turn and burn here onto the Ranger. We'll be able to take it down in just a moment's time. And now I see what Ethit did. They're pairing up with the Quink, so that actually ends up being Tempest Templar. A nice little way, and I see now why they have that Fernite there, trying to get additional Templar. But now Ethit has to go up against the ghost of Robert Tacho. This could be game, set, match here if Robert Tacho's able to deal with the bot, which based off of the compositions, I think they very well might be able to do. The one thing that's going to be very annoying, though, is, of course, that Blazonite that we were showing off from the bot earlier. Because this isn't a Invoker team based around 5 Scion, this means that you don't have the immunity when you're starting your cast. So what loves to interrupt that? Well, the Twist Wing. But a Blotto coming out here from the bot actually is going to make it tough. We're going to hop on over with Ethit because this is the big one. If Ethit does end up going down, that is going to be curtains here for this game. Let's see if they can deal with it. First shot, I'm looking for the Sinolf. Is there any way to interrupt? Yeah, you got the Quinks. Can it come around the right possible moment? Not exactly. And the Charm, though, does end up just going from the other side, rather, onto the Revo and the Ranger. So not the worst case scenario. The Furiox on the side of Ethit, trying to stand to get through this poor Goliath. It's finally going to end up falling, but it took forever to actually get that done. The Lallura took out the Adorito with the help of the Sinolf, so with all that healing gone, this could very well be the end here for Ethit. The Mammoth is the last front line really still standing. Sinolf blast directly into the Furiox, And with the big snake gone and the damage gone, the invokers and the rest of the support line stand tall. Robert Tacho gonna get both of them at once and will be our winner and continuing to be the most winningest player here in the Carablu Cup. Congratulations, Robert Tacho. GG's to the both of you. Always a pleasure watching you back and forth battle over all of these weeks. It's incredible to see these matches. GG's everybody. Robert Tacho with the win, and Ethit shall be second in this instance. All right. Let's get this all documented here in just a moment's time. Back and forth battles between these two. That's why this doesn't get old for me. Like, Robert Tacho will get a couple, Ethit will get one. Robert Tacho will get one, Ethit will get one. These players both just kind of back and forth battles with each other consistently, and I absolutely love it. Now, of course, reminder to my Carablu Cup players here for Robert Tacho and for Ethit, both of yous are allowed to bump into the next game. Assuming I didn't see any additional last-second attempts. Nope, not going to be the case. Yeah, so Robert Tacho, the winningest player in the Carablu Cup currently, and the crazy thing too is they aren't the one with the highest collection score either, so to speak. So, again, collection score is not everything. Got to take it match by match. And Robert Tacho able to take this one and a couple of them from the past. We're going to be making our next lobby here in just a second. And of course, this next part is absolutely optional, of course, if you want to play into the Lynx League. None of your prizes are threatened or anything like that. You're going into this match knowing that you are the underdog. However, if you make the upset and get into the top 3, that's a double dose of prizes right there. So that's why I love to give the option. Lynx League code coming on through here in just a second. So again, that's going to be Robert Tacho. Just throwing it onto Discord. Bear with me a second. Alright, so Robert Tacho, Ethit, Mothpuck, our monster, Blazin, Illuvium Hunter, Tallulah, Zajac, Awake Darkness, and I believe that's everybody. Yep, here we go. Lobby code sent in the Discord. And then just again to double check with everybody, everything lag-wise has been okay. There hasn't been too many hiccups. Because yeah, my OBS is absolutely scaring me. It's saying that I've dropped 30% of my frames here today. Meaning in theory, like every other word that I say should be laggy. But it could just be a visual bug here on the OBS side of things. Alright, so all of my Lynxes are here. Robert Tacho has made the move up here as well. And then again with Ethit, if you'd like to join, you absolutely can. If not though, that's okay. Just let me know as well. Seems to be fine for you. Okay, so that's two people saying that it's just a visual glitch then on my end. Perfect. I'd rather that be the case. Let's get ready to rumble. Zajac's got it right. Ready to battle. Of course, Zajac had a pretty sick week last week. If I recall correctly, it was their first podium in Lynx League. Yep, right here they were able to get it. Same thing here with Awake Darkness. able to get onto the podium from last week. Of course, Mothpuck or Monster getting the win from last week. Lynx League has been a very interesting division. There's not necessarily been one person that's been dominating Lynx League, per se. So it's cool to see. You never know what you're going to get in the Lynx League. The gang's all here. We're going to fire off the lobby. Good luck. Have fun, everybody. Yes, most importantly, regardless of where you finish, I hope you're having fun. Again, the idea here with the House League is that we're going to be doing this every single week. It's not like this is going to be a one and never see a tournament again for like 4, 5, 6 months later. No, we're going to be doing this. In fact, you'll see more tournament action tomorrow. In fact, right here on my channel as well. I don't know exactly what to call it. I'm just going to refer to it as the Ratty Data Tournament. So this is the events that coming from Bondaddy Ratty or from Ratty Data, the website, where you'd get a ticket through via one of the NFTs, and then you'd basically play in sit and go sessions a couple of times every week, if I recall correctly, get points, and the top 8 players from the month that they're going to be calling as seasons are all going to compete against each other in a best of 3, if I recall correctly, point style kind of battle. I was asked to cast it, and it's been a little bit since we got ourselves a good or another tournament kind of setup. It's been since the Motorverse Cup, which would have been last month. I'm looking forward to yet another event here through the Ratty Data Tournament, the season finale for that. So that'll be happening tomorrow. I believe it's 3 p.m. my time, so basically right when I would normally stream, but just on a Saturday. Soda calling in the prediction game. Any predictions into this one? I know if this was a Twitch chat and I had the points, the chat point system where you can gamble your points away. Wifey's hiding. Hi, love. Hello, beautiful. Yeah. Okay, you're good. No worries. Alright, loading in here in just a second. Yeah, she startled me for a second there. Trying to break just frozen fries, and it sounded like a gunshot, I swear to God. Yeah, if this was a Twitch chat where I had the channel points and we could gamble on our Twitch chat points on who would win, I'm sure y'all would eat that up. I'm surprised YouTube doesn't have something of the equivalent. Spoon 1 million on the Russian sounding nickname, so I'm guessing you're talking about Mothpuck or Monster as it translates to. Because I felt bad about or with Mothpuck because I could not I was having a hard time properly pronouncing it, I believe. And to the point where they did actually reach out and it's like, hey, just as a heads up, like this translates to Monster if you just want to call me Monster. So that worked out, I think. Mothpuck or thank Monster for letting me know about that. I'll probably refer to them as Monster moving forward, but to get it right, it's a friendly monster at that here with that specific pronunciation here for their name. So I'll keep that in mind moving forward. All right, Lynx League here for week 13 of Illuvium Arena House League. From the Carablu Cup, after a solid victory, we have Robert Tacho moving on fourth. Then we have last week's winner. We have Monster coming on through here alongside Tallulah from Bonds. We have Blazin. We have Awake Darkness 69. We have Ethit also making the bump up here from the Carablu Cup after a fantastic second place finish. We have Illuvium Hunter looking to keep that top 4 streak alive, top 5 streak. Definitely week in, week out, doing solid job here. And last but not least, jumping all over the board, but I'm not going to lose them. That's going to be Zajac Wildfire after a podium in last week's action. Region this time is going to be Crystal Shores, and it's going to be the high APM one, where you want to flood your bench and fuse everything you can find, because you get a free reroll every single time you fuse an Illuvial. So whether that just be fusing and then immediately selling the Illuvial, or however you want to handle it, the thing is, early game bench space is going to be a little bit more of a problem compared to it in its normal situation. As we watch Blazin and Ethan take to the battlefield, we're going to take a look at the weapons for today's battles. And that is a hell of a lot of fire. What the hell? That is incredible. We haven't seen this since the rework where Dust Revenant was absolutely incredible. This is insane. We don't normally see elemental dominance like this very often, but it's here today, because that is how many boomerangs? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 boomerangs. We have the Gauntlet, which is the alternative variant here. We have a Buckler, which is an additional alternative to push more so towards Behemoth. But to go into specifics as to what everybody's playing, let's take a look once again while we do see Zajac and Ethan go at it here. So Blazin's going to be the outlier with the Buckler. That again goes for the Behemoth side potentially, but again, so do the boomerangs. Monster has one, Zajac Wildfire has one, Ethan has one, and Awake Darkness all have the boomerang. And then Illuvium Hunter has the Gauntlet, which is a very similar playstyle. You just can't do Behemoth, but you can still do Inferno Arcanite, which is definitely a very sought-after team. But through the fire and flames, we do have 2 people actually using different elements here. And oddly enough, Robert Tacho went for the Sylphid Blade. If they go Mud up against a bunch of fire, that could actually be super strong. That might be the play. We'll see how this goes here moving forward. And then Tallulah is playing with fire a little bit here, given that air, if it's a full air-based team, is going to be having essentially hyper or the super effectiveness done against them, but their units are not going to be contested at all. So a nice little setup, and a lot of players here taking a couple hits early, but we see a lot of players in the 70s already in regards to their economy, so doing a great job so far in that regard. Currently leading the lobby is going to be Blazin, going up against Zajac Wildfire this time. As we get set up for this battle, taking a look at a couple of additional plays here. Monster going to be throwing in the Archos to kind of maybe set up for a more bunker-based fire team. We'll have to see. Ethan picks up the TNT here for a little additional firepower. Now let's take a look at this battle here between our 2 players nice and early. Instead of, or we see the Borgs here for the side of Blazin, currently has not lost a round. On the alternative, we're seeing the Empaths come through on the other side here for Zajac, but the double Lynx is just coming on through. And I mean, I say this every week, double Lynx, if you have the opportunity to run it, you are in a great spot, especially in the early game. And then heck, even having Chikoral here as well, which is an offensively sound Illuvial with a little bit of extra utility as well, thanks to that early game blind, puts you in a pretty good spot. Okay, level 6 now on to Zajac Wildfire. We do see Awake Darkness down towards the bottom. We're going to follow along with them as they're going up against lobby leader here, Blazin. Awake Darkness now all the way up to 80 credits currently in the bank. We do see this Relentless Lynx coming on through. Let's see how the battle ends up pursuing here. Let's get the damage charts out here for this one. See who's top on the charts. I expect to see some Lynxes in just a moment's time, but the problem is it's all baby Lynxes, because look at this absolute Zerg swarm coming on through here against Awake Darkness. Blazing at level 6 compared to 5, but that felt like there was just so many more Illuvials coming on through, even though it was only a 1 Illuvial difference. Going to quickly take a look here at Robert Tacho, our current, or we actually have our Carablu players battling it out versus each other right here, right now. Drac, good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you in action here in our next matchup. After work gaming, not after hours gaming. I got it wrong earlier. So after work gaming. Shoutouts to Drac for being pretty much the only other consistent Illuvium streamer as of the last month or so. So thank you for doing so. Make sure you check them out if you have not done so already. Now, holy level difference, Batman. That is level 7 compared to level 4. Ethan spent the okay, they're going in the complete opposite direction to what we normally see them play in Carablu Cup. Instead of hitting level 7 and then just being on cruise control all the way up into the hundreds of credits, they blew the bank and went for level 7 immediately. And they're going to absolutely be able to put the hurt here onto Robert Tacho. But Robert Tacho is setting up for the mud-based play. Tipo going to be coming on through here. It looks like we are going to have Berserker now online. The Greater Monkier here. And it's set up for safety. So that Monkier is going to be tough to deal with. There's our first mud unit. The Apon has been picked up in a game where there is usually a lot of Mystics. I'd argue that's the hardest of the mud units to actually hit, but nobody else actually went the Mystic route. They all went for the Inferno route. So that was actually perfect case scenario here for Robert Tacho. Let's see how they do versus Awake Darkness. Awake Darkness did end up going for Berserker as well. Nearly 7 fighters at this point. But look, it's an Exalted Monkier now as well. I did not catch that evolution. It happened right at the last possible moment. Even though this Monkier is getting swarmed, it's trying its damnedest. Now it just has to go up against a Lynx that has that phase breaker, able to just stop targetability for just a moment's time. It is the Apon up against the Lynx as a little bit of a 1v1 to potentially finish off this battle. It's going to be close, but it's going to be, I think the Apon, the Thunder Drum, is going to finish the job. An unlikely hero in the mix here with the Apon. You usually never see Apon clutches because it usually gets crushed no matter what. But yet in this case, Robert Tacho and the Mud Squad has come in clutch. To truly finish this off, now they just need to find the last Greater Gorilla. They do find one more lesser. There just needs to be 2 more potential lessers, and they will be right there. Credits-wise, they are still in the 70s here as well. Cardaloc's going to join in this one. This even adds additional potential utility as well. If Robert Tacho is able to hit that Exalted Gorilla and get the 4 mud, the next thing, if it's not contested whatsoever, and with everybody going for fire, I don't see this touched at all right now, is going for Rip Lance. If you could turn this into a toxic mud Berserker team, it is extremely tough to actually stop. And Tallulah's not going to make this easy, though. Tallulah did pick up a handful of Earth units for themselves as well, all the way up to 5 Earth as of this moment. But a little bit more disruption in the form of the Fern alongside the Revo. There is also the Axon right on board here as well. It's going to be very strong in regards to disruption there. A little foe coming on through here for Tallulah as well. A nice little bird as well. Let's take a look and see how these two battle it out in this one. 5 mud versus the... Or 5 Earth, 5 mud. Oh, God. 5 Earth versus the 3 mud. This time by level advantage for Tallulah, but again, the evolution advantage is definitely in the pocket here for Robert Tacho. How does this Monkier end up staying strong? The Cardaloc's did a fantastic job of holding the line, and I like the augment choice here as well, considering that the taunt is on the Cardaloc's and it wants things to target it. Adding that augment onto it, the cascading stasis reactor, and just making your defenses that much stronger after you use your Omega, while also giving everybody thorns and just like hitting each other when attacking you. That's a great choice. We've been on Robert Tacho for quite a little bit. We do see the Scorpion coming online, and the Exalted Gorilla is here. Robert Tacho looking to make the upset from Carablu Cup to maybe squeak into the podium here in the Lynx League. But I want to run it through the rest of our players here as well. Let's not completely stick to Robert Tacho. We do have Awake Darkness 69 alongside Mothbuck or Monster in this instance here. And we do have Chips actually coming on through from the crate. So we now have a Berserker Lynx and a Slayer Lynx on both respective sides here. This game's going to be incredible. If, God forbid, as well for Robert Tacho, if they happen to also get a Berserker chip, that could open the door for potentially 4 Berserker. We hardly ever see that because of its difficulty in actually being able to hit. Monster looks like they're going to be able to tear through this one. It's a little bit close in regards to health bars. That Lynx is going to try its damnedest. It's going to find a couple of eliminations, maybe stop the bleeding a little bit. Can this Lynx maybe find it? It's going to be close. It's Archos versus the Lynx in the last possible scenario. Rejuvenace is going to try and do a little bit of damage over time. Did this Lynx pull it off? Holy smokes, it actually did. Awake Darkness puts the hurt here onto Monster. Makes the upset onto our lobby leader. That was not expected in the slightest. Holy smokes. Two players we haven't caught in the last little bit has been Zajac Wildfire as well as Ethit. Again, Ethit's one of our players bumping up from Carablu Cup. We do have 4 Templar on the line here for the side of Zajac Wildfire. Right on brand, they are trying to set up for Wildfire, but the Crunk is missing, and of course Wildfire doesn't come online here for the Shoe Bills until the Blasonite is evolved into, which of course that is the stage 3. That is much tougher to actually hit. Let's get the damage charts up here in this instance here. So we got the Furiox versus basically the foe in this battle, but the foe, I believe, has already got broken into the backlines, actually. I thought it went down, but nope, it's still there. And of course, it's a little Templar as well, a little Templar Birdo coming on through, the Terror Bird Templar, rather, with 6 nature on top of it as well. So a pretty nice high damage, but high sustain team coming out here for Ethit. We have Tallulah versus Awake Darkness 69. Both these players taking a ton of heat here in this one, to the point where elimination could be possible if a battle really doesn't go their way. Let's see what they've built. Awake Darkness 69 has 7 fighters plus Berserker with Frost. So, I mean, as long as they're continuing to auto-attack and aren't disrupted, they can continue to heal and just dish out big damage. Meanwhile, on the other side here for Tallulah, they do have Dust, which, I mean, there is no true sight on the other side. So when these Revos and the Ranger, if they're able to, or not the Ranger, but the Quinks, if they can get some decent dust shots off, the blinds can be problematic. And this is a very close battle, but between the two of them, Tallulah looks like they have the numbers advantage as of right now. Just a little bit of extra blinds, making it difficult for Awake Darkness to truly utilize their team. And after a big, big win here from Tallulah, we will lose Awake Darkness 69 this time. GG's Awake Darkness. Again, I hope regardless of results that you had a fun time here in House League. Look forward to seeing you again sometime soon, I hope. Unlucky indeed here. I mean, that Jokul, it was doing some work. Squad was doing some work, but unfortunately not going to be enough here. We do have another NPC round to break up the battles for just a little bit. So let's take a look at our current leader, Illuvium Hunter. Usually stuck settling for 2nd or 3rd, sometimes 4th. But they are in the lead here in this lobby as of right now, after Monster took a couple of hits in this one. 30 credits, so they've had to spend a little bit, so it's not like they've been playing super greedy, but they are one of the many players in this lobby that did go for Inferno, but they did actually hit the Arctase compared to some of these other players. Zajac Wildfire is the only other one that looks like they have an Arctase actually evolved into. So in terms of truly getting Inferno, Illuvium Hunter is in the best place of them all. Ramp Fight is here as well, and hell, if there's one stat that you're going to have on Ramp Fight that matters, let it be your Omega power. Get that big nuke on board. And this Ramp Fight coming up here from Illuvium Hunter has that, and it's ready to go. Building a little bit of tank. Heck, even making this thing a bulwark as well, just to guarantee that maybe you don't just get the 1 Omega off. Maybe you get a 2nd. Yeah, Sota made the call that they're guessing that Illuvium Hunter is going to take this one. And currently leading the charge, so not looking too bad, if I do say so myself. Big Geyser evolution coming out here from Blazin. Maybe we'll take a look at them here in just a moment's time. But I want to see what happens here with Illuvium Hunter versus Monster. Again, our winner from last week. Lots of firepower, lots of damage coming on through. AC 130 above, directly into the back line. Gonna wombo combo up here with that Infernal Skyfall coming out from the Ramp Fight, doing big, big damage. Holy hell, that's a lot of damage. Illuvium Hunter absolutely crushing that one. Let's go over to Tallulah and Ethit. Battle currently in progress. Tallulah and the fighters going to do some work once again. Put the hurt onto Ethit. Not going to knock him out, though. Our Carablus still hanging on to this one. Now Tallulah has to go up against Zajac, Wildfire, and then Ethit. Who do they have to go up against? They have to go up against the Ghost of Monster. And Monster, as we see right here, hello beautiful, the Lynx has arrived. Don't run away from me, I'm trying to showcase you. There are beautiful Relentless, oh, that's a really beautiful Relentless Floor Lynx coming on through here from Monster. But I do not want to be biased. Just because there is a Lynx on board. We have potential knockouts at hand here if things don't go the way of Tallulah or for Ethit. Ethit again going up against the Ghost of, I believe it was Monster. We'll see how that goes here. But Zajac Wildfire, if I recall correctly, they did actually get Wildfire online. The Crunk has arrived. So a big front line alongside this Inferno, 6 Nature, and 5 Fire team. This has health and damage and no in-between. Offensive team, defensive team, the answer is yes. Take it all, and that's the beauty of Wildfire, if you can pull this one off. But it does definitely rely on keeping that Adorito, keeping that Furiox safe, and right now it doesn't look like the front line's holding. The Crunk is trying his damnedest to hang in here. The Wildfire is slowly but surely burning on through. But it's not going to be enough, I do not think. That backline here from Tallulah is way too damn scary. That Crunk's held the line for so long. The fact that actually that Adorito held the line, there's no chance that the Adorito and the Crunk maybe just pulled this off. It is a very close battle. Tallulah's backline is shooting as best as they possibly can, but everything's being healed through. The Adorito is not threatened, and the Archos is keeping that Adorito alive as well. I did not expect that to turn out the way that it did. And unfortunately here it does mean that Tallulah does get knocked down to 3. And unfortunately this does mean we do lose Ethit into this one. A valiant effort to Ethit. Sorry we couldn't catch the final moments there, but a valiant effort here into this one. GG's. Now Tallulah could potentially be the next one knocked out here, going up against Monster. Monster's starting to hemorrhage health a little bit, but again, did find a big evolution, a little bit of a late evolution, but we'll take the Lynx whenever you can get it, especially when the stats look that damn good. But let's see about the rest of the squad here from Tallulah. Had a hard time dealing with the Adorito in the last one. But this Adorito is even more tucked in. The Crunk held them up pretty badly last time, but I imagine that Relentless Lynx is going to cause just as much of a problem. Granted, this is at least 4 nature compared to 6. So the healing is not as outrageous as Zajac Wildfire's team in particular, but it looks like that Lynx is too damn strong. We see the Phosphorus and the Jokel on the bottom side here doing their damnedest, but now that the Lynx has arrived, it's focused onto the Bird. The Phase Breaker going to keep it safe for at least a little bit. It's only the backline shooting it, and the Charm actually moved the Adorito away from the Phosphor or the Forest. That is pretty devastating. The Lynx, it's damage, it's tank, it's everything. It's absolutely beautiful, but it's coming down to a 1 versus 1 between the empaths, and it is going to be actually Tallulah hanging on by a thread. Now we have 3 people within kill shot. Let's take a look at Robert Tacho. We're asking about how's the Mud player doing. There is what we've got here with Robert Tacho. They are down to within knockout. Again, level-wise, they are absolutely underdogs, similar to what Ethit's situation was. Again, Carablu Cup, they're punching above their weight class to try and join us here in the Lynx League. They have the evolution, they have the strategy, but can the team pull the upset? Zajac Wildfire has been very, very tough to break through, and they did hit 6 fire. So they have defense and offense, like I was saying before. But let's take a look here. All eyes on that Monk here. That is going to be the big DPS, and there is some big augments. Can it get through the blinds, though? This is where things get annoying. The Crunk loves this scenario. He'll just keep popping blind after blind, and the damage is going to be too damn high. We will end up losing Robert Tacho. We do lose Monster. Last week's winner is out of here. How about Tallulah? Are they going to be out of here as well? It looks like Blazin might be onto something, and it is going to be slowly but surely chipped away. We do lose Tallulah as well, and we lost 3 players all at the exact same time, which now leaves us with our podium locked in. And for the 2nd week in a row, Zajac Wildfire going to make the podium. For the first time, I think, here, Blazin has made it into the podium of a Lynx League battle. And then Illuvium Hunter, potentially their 2nd win, I believe, here in the Lynx League, if they can maybe pull this off. I'm trying to check my notes to see if they've won before. If this is going to be a first. A first here for them. Quickly checking it while we have this NPC round online. They have won one Lynx League match before, but this would be number 2 if they can pull it off. Of course, for the additional honor here of Sota in chat, who maybe made the call maybe midway through the game, but made the call that Illuvium Hunter maybe had this one set up for victory. And we'll have to see how this ends up going. Illuvium Hunter versus Ajax Wildfire. And then Blazin is going up against the ghost of Illuvium Hunter. We'll see if this is a trap or not. I love this Illuvial, but it's sometimes a little bit underplayed. Sometimes 2 Arctases can be better. But the Queen, your Majesty, Monarch has arrived. Can it find a good pyro field? It's going to go directly on top of the little forest, actually, and it's going to open fire right onto the bird. Big damage gone. Big damage from the Infernal Skyfall. Just absolutely destroyed that Furiox. There we go. Carpet Bomb. AC-1 Fury above. That's going to be able to take care of Zajac Wildfire. And Blazin just lost Illuvium Hunter as well. The Monarch actually just paid in dividends. That was a beautiful pyro field coming out here from that Monarch. And that just took everybody down. The Queen has arrived. And it just did massive work. Blazin versus Illuvium Hunter to finish off this one. And of course, GG's to Zajac Wildfire. Congrats again on an additional 2nd week in a row getting a 3rd place. Congratulations. All right, Blazin has to essentially play some perfect Illuvium. Double battle snails coming on through here. So that's going to be additional granite, but none of them actually are going to be disrupting the poor Scorpion. The Scorpion actually just shredded the Furiox. A worst case scenario here for Blazin. Monarch got a pretty decent pyro field, and that is going to be the geyser immediately taken off the field. This is looking decisive. This is looking scary. And Illuvium Hunter going to be scoring themselves their 2nd victory in the Lynx League here in the Illuvium Arena House League. Congratulations, Illuvium Hunter. Blazin with a valiant effort here as well, scoring 2nd, I believe, first time on the podium for a Lynx League battle. With a very unorthodox squad coming on through here as well. Love to see it. Zajac Wildfire staying true to brand on that Wildfire team. Full HP, full firepower. A mix of things that don't normally work together, but working beautifully. And honestly, considering the scenario, with everybody going for fire, that was a nice way to mix it up. Nicely done. Last week's winner, Monster, coming on through here in the top half as well. Going to be finishing on 4th. A valiant effort from the Lynx and the rest of the squad, but not going to be able to pull it off this time. From the Carablu Cup, of course, winning that one, Robert Tacho going to finish off in 5th. Went for mud in a sea of fire, nearly pulled it off. Valiant effort. Tallulah, Ethan, and Awake Darkness, valiant efforts for them as well. But in a sea of fire, it was very hard to be able to break away and not be contested. And they're going to end up falling here, but a valiant effort again, regardless of where you finished. I hope you had a fantastic time here. Holy moly, let's get that documented, why don't we? So again, congratulations, Illuvium Hunter. Blazin in the 2nd place spot, and then Zajac Wildfire in 3rd. So again, for the kind of recap the prizing happening, I'll start off with Carablu Cup. So Carablu Cup, first off, Robert Tacho, you have 3 packs coming on through. And again, these packs are 8 Illuvials, random which Illuvials those are, but those are going to be opened up through Deathmatch. You don't have to go into Deathmatch. I'm going to open it on Deathmatch and send it to you after, just like what we did before. And then you also, I'm going to be diving in over the weekend and diving into an account scan, similar to what I do for Collection Score. I'm going to take a look and see what you're missing. And we're going to go through the community rescue and try to find you a couple of those missing Illuvials. 9 points worth of Illuvials there. I can go over all of that near the end of the stream. Ethan getting 2nd place has 2 packs coming their way and then 7 points towards the community rescue. Then for our Carablu, or not the Carablu, but for our Lynx League, Illuvium Hunter has 6 packs coming on through. Blazin going to be getting 4, Zeshak Wildfire going to be getting 2. Which leaves us with, last but not least, our main event of the evening is going to be the Monarch Masters. First and foremost, Illuvium Hunter, if you want, hop on in for the bump up. Since you did win the Lynx League, you can play in Monarch Masters. If for whatever reason Illuvium Hunter cannot make it, I will then give the opportunity to some players on the waitlist first, because that is, they've been waiting and whatnot. I want to give them an opportunity first. If none of my waitlist is available, then we'll go back and try to pull people from Lynx League, if that makes sense. So for this next matchup, let's make the lobby, why don't we? And once again, as I'm doing this as well, big thank you to everybody for, whether you're just watching or participating, then watching, whatever have you. Thank you for your support here of Illuvium Arena House League, and just having a blast. This, week after week, you'd think this would get old. It's not. To me, it's not. And I thank you all for making it awesome. More enjoyable than the World Cup? I mean, you gotta be careful who you say that to, but I mean, I definitely thank you. I'm glad you see this with high regard. All right. Monarch Masters. Main event of the afternoon. If I said main event of the evening, I better get ready to say let's get ready to rumble. Go like full boxing or full UFC on this thing. So again, Illuvium Hunter, you could take the bump if you would like. Bond Daddy Ratty, Dr. Spoon, Texan, Hector, Draknyen, Nocacho, Wolverine, code is in the, or the code is in the Discord, where the players can absolutely hop on in whenever you have the opportunity. Let's get that all monitored. It was a favorite tournament. You had so much fun casting stuff. Thank you so much. I'm glad you think highly of it. That's awesome. Thank you. A little bit of Drak hype here. There's a decent lobby with good players. Absolutely. And that was the goal here of House League, right? It's to try and, since Ranked doesn't have matchmaking, we're missing that experience of what this game actually feels like when, first off, the lobby is as close to full as possible, and what happens when it's actually like a really close match-made lobby. This game is so beautiful when it's a full lobby with close battles. It is incredible. But the problem is, we never get to see it because of how niche it is. And of course, it's not built to be newcomer friendly, so to speak. There's still a lot of work that can be done, and there's probably not going to be work done on the game for at least a while. So yeah, that's the goal. In a perfect world, we'd have a bunch of different systems in line, a bunch of marketing. But if there's a game that's going to blow up Illuvium, I agree that the MMO would be it. So that's why I'm not mad that that's where the resources are going. My thoughts on Deathmatch, I mean, Deathmatch is Deathmatch. There's an audience for it. It is what it is. I don't mind it. Alright, just getting a couple of players in here. The only person I think we're missing is Nocacho, and they did give me the warning that they might have family coming over from out of town, which might stop them from playing. So I will make the call out right now. Squawk, you're first. If you are here, please let me know in either chat or Discord, just in case No Cacho doesn't make it. No, poor Drac. I haven't finished my morning coffee. Oh dear. Need the food buff real quick. Or awake darkness. Can't decide whether they're awake or in darkness. They're half asleep apparently. Oh no. Red Fox Amaranti. Good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Blazin' saying my thoughts out loud. 100%. For what it is, I don't mind it. No Holland today. Oh no. That's one of the few people that I actually know in regards to a soccer player. Like, I don't follow the World Cup too much. My wife and kids do. But Holland I only know because they had a tie-in with Clash of Clans not too long ago. Maybe a year ago or something like that. So I actually know who Holland is. That's a player I know. And of course my kid's obsessed with Ronaldo and Messi. Alright, so No Cacho does not seem to be available. So Squawk, are you available? Yeah, I hope it stays too. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not super excited about Deathmatch. However, I see its purpose. And heck, I'm going to use it too. If it wasn't for Deathmatch, for example, I got a lot of fantastic upgrades for my arena team just using my extras from when I just spammed Overworld a ton. I don't have any more now, and I'm at the spot where it's like, okay, I ran out of extras. I'm content right now. I don't need to play more unless I get some more like packs sometime down the road. I can try my luck there, but like similar to eating at a restaurant, so to speak. Like I can enjoy the food and I think it's all right, but when I'm full, I'm full. I'm done. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I didn't hate it. I want it to stick around. I want to do it again, but I'm full for now. That's where I'm at. Okay, Squawk does not seem to be answering. So next up on the wait list would be Zyfet. I think they released, or this is from Drac here in the chat, I think they released Deathmatch too early, needs some more polish. What does confuse me a little bit, if you had all of these features that you were going to throw in post-release, what would have maybe another week or two and then having this all immediately right off the rip would have done for the game? That's where I'm a little bit confused here, because that game, unfortunately, the rules change and things get added to it so often, which, don't get me wrong, I'm glad there's updates. It's just weird that so many are happening so fast. And it's hard to keep up with. Like, even myself as somebody who does the news on Illuvium every week, there's times I straight up miss stuff because I didn't realize, like 2 days ago, a certain game mode got added, or I didn't realize that the rewards amounts on Bones changed, or on Skulls changed, or anything like that. You can tell that the system was functional, but the polish was not. And I'm starting to see Illuvium actually make more posts in regards to Deathmatch now that it's in this state. Which is good, because there's a lot of times where Illuvium just doesn't promote their stuff. So I'm happy they are right now. Okay, so no Cacho is not available. Hector, I saw you reached out as well. Thank you. Yeah, potentially. Not talk about the rewards on the leaderboard. I know that there is a current mess going on with the new graveyard system, where if you kill off like one of each alluvial and have a full collection, then you get like leaderboard rewards in the form of skulls or something along those lines. But apparently alluvials aren't being registered properly, or there's people with the same amount of collection score, but yet the values of the placings are so vastly different. That's definitely one instance where I'm happy that I'm kind of on the sidelines, just watching. So Zyfet is not available either. Stinky Pinky, you're the last one on the wait list. If Stinky Pinky cannot make it in, then Blazin, you're the next one that gets the option. I'd love to be able to fill up the lobby. All right, we got Stinky Pinky. They're coming. Oh, bear with me a second. Sorry about that. Let me get this all accurate here. Just for my records. Perfect. Yes, and then... True, Stinky Pinky goes by a different tag now. Okay, I'll remember that. Perfect. All right, the gang is all here. Ready to go? Let's do this. Last one. Oh. Oh no, text and saying wait. Right as I hit start. Oh, started 8 out of 8, all good. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh yeah, there's a bug with the lobby. Whenever you join, you only see the players that joined before you. If anybody joins after you, it does not show up in game. So Texan, I believe it's the at least for House League, it'd be the first time. So yeah, that could catch you off guard, 100%. Yeah, custom lobbies don't get used to too often. It's a bug that's kind of snuck through the cracks for a little while. But that's what's going on there. All's good. That's why I always go by the line, if I can see you on my screen, we're good. And of course, if you're having fun here with Illuvium Arena and just enjoying the time as well, just hanging out with the community, watching these matches live, this isn't the last time that we're going to be doing this, so I definitely wish to do a little bit of a call to action here. If you can subscribe to the channel, come back. Would love to see you back here once again. Because even tomorrow, we do have the Bon Daddy Ratty, or the Ratty Data season finale, where we've got 8 players actually going to be battling it out after a months-long competition. Some of Illuvium's top talent's going to be battling it out for some prizes. Can't remember the exact prizes off the top of my head. I'll have to bug Ratty about that, actually. But I'll ask them when, you know, they're not playing in the match that we're about to cast. So we'll get into that, but nonetheless, be sure to join me tomorrow. And if you could sub to the channel so you get notified about it, that'd be awesome. It'd mean the world. All right. Double check the lobby. Looks good. and we have an effective, interesting, but not abrasive region to round up the day. I'll talk about it here in just a moment's time. For it to load in and make sure all is good. Just getting through their first PvP round, if I recall correctly. Poor Hector. Drone already getting beat on. It looked like the Fleesh fired that off. That was kind of funny. All right, all is good. Everybody's in the game, and here we go. The main event of the evening here in the Illuvium Arena House League. This is the Monarch Masters. Some of the top collections, top players in Illuvium battling it out here today for all of our entertainment, for all of the opportunity at finding more Illuvials through packs, through the Illuvium Deathmatch, and at very worst, finding more Illuvials for themselves for Deathmatch, but potentially some arena upgrades. Will be an exciting one. Our players here today going to be Bond Daddy Ratty, still looking for win number 1. They have one of the best collections in the game. Let's see if they can turn that into a win. Wolverine 777 Hype looking for their second win in the Monarch Masters, even though they have probably the lowest collection score of everybody in the game right now. They've won before. Let's see if they can do it again. Here for the first time, it's going to be Texan and then legit Bond Digit going to be here for the first time here as well. Also known formerly as Stinky Pinky. If they might have joined us for a House League a long time ago, but this is the first time in a while. Happy to see them. We have Draknian, one of the few other streamers here that actually do cover Illuvium. Draknian, again, that's After Hours Gaming, is here looking to make an upset here today. Very strong player. They've made it onto the leaderboard high up there as well. Looking forward to seeing them alongside another player that needs absolutely no introduction here for the Illuvium Arena. That's going to be Dr. Spoon. It's won many times here in Monarch Masters. Looking for it again. Illuvium Hunter, after a fantastic Lynx League victory, their second victory ever, taking a bump, trying to punch a little bit above their weight class. Let's see if they can do some damage here to some of Illuvium's big dogs. Speaking of dogs, we've got Hector from Mad Dogs going to be here as well. Always a threat, looking for them to pull off a big one here today. For our region for today, did I miss anybody first and foremost? No, okay, there we go. For our region today, we've got House CNC this time by, and this one is in regards to your win-loss streaks. The amount of credits you get for win and loss streaks are going to be doubled. So basically, if you're going to win streak, hard commit to it. If you're going to lose streak, hard commit to it. Because otherwise, losing that streak is going to be very, very painful. Let's look at weapons this time by. This one way more diverse compared to what we saw in the last game, to the point where I'm actually surprised I don't see the potential of Inferno Behemoth, one of the top teams currently in the game. Draknian going to be leading us off here at the Shadow Mall. We do see potentially some Earth Mystic stuff going that way. Texan, the Sprout Guard, this little Scion Shield has been slept on for too long, and I think people are finally starting to figure out how strong it actually is. Wolverine going to be going for the Elderwood Staff. That's your Nature Empath weapon. Bond Daddy Ratty going for the Fire Empath weapon. That's going to be the Flameborn Staff coming on through. Dr. Spoon with the classic, the Ripple Flail. Potential Toxic Aegis incoming, we'll have to see. Legit Bond Digit going to be picking up the Galewind Bow. We've seen how well it was utilized in our first game. Can we see it happen again? Let's see. Hector, Mad Dogs, looking for the Quake Maulers, the only one picking up a rogue weapon. Maybe some chances here for the rogues to shine. Then last but not least here, Illuvium Hunter, picking up the Lava Gauntlet. Another way that you could potentially go for Inferno Arcanite. But with it being the Gauntlet, it does not allow for Inferno Behemoth. So it's something that they're going to have to keep in mind into this one. I mean, Dr. Spoon feels like an unbeatable final boss, which shows up at the start of the adventure. No, that's fair. I definitely agree with you on that one there, Weak Darkness. Yeah, there's absolutely a few more there as well. But we're going to start things off here with Bond Daddy Ratty and Illuvium Hunter. Again, Illuvium Hunter, after that victory in the Lynx League, looking to pull an upset. Maybe if they can score up twice on the prizing. There has been a player that has done it before. I remember Axel from Apex, when we first introduced the bump up system, did win the Lynx League, then went all the way, I believe, to get third in the Monarch Masters, they got a ton of what I believe ended up being Wave 5 discs at that time. But doing something like that could score an absolute ton of Illuvials. Bon Daddy Red again still looking for their first win. Of course, the tournament organizer for the event that I'll be casting tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing how they do here today. As of right now, though, the two Lynxes just keep nipping at their toes. The poor little Tipo's not going to be long for this Worlds, but the Railu might be able to turn this around a little bit. Let's see if they can pull this one off. You got the Ranger kind of plowing away from the back lines as well. Going to be able to take it down. The little baby Lynx, stretch of victory. Going to take care of that one. Legit Bon Digit up against Hector this time. Bye. Again, formerly known as Stinky Pinky. This is the first time in a while we've gotten to see them on the field here. See them in ranked on occasion, but first time in a while, again, seeing them here in the Monarch Masters or in House League as a whole. Hector does have the double Lynx thing going on, so that's going to be very scary to try and deal with, but overall, has a couple of tier zeros still flooding on through. Granted, the Grocco is the absolute GOAT in regards to tier zeros, and we do also have to keep in mind, I believe there was a level difference in this one, because unfortunately here, for Legit, I believe they're going to get absolutely swarmed on down. The little snail going to try and stam this. As soon as it tries to shoot off a Omega, immediately getting silenced by the Valente. So Hector bringing the swarm here, level 6 compared to level 5, and making that feel way bigger than what it actually was. That's a lot of damage going over to Legit. Let's take a look at Drakenyen. What are they cooking? I imagine it's probably Mystic, but as of right now, no. Because there is, of course, Drax tried and true build. If I've seen enough Drax streams to know, is that Drac absolutely loves using Aegis teams to buff a Scoriox. Make that the main carry in their fight, and it ends up being more of a corner comp, but with Aegis compared to it being a melee carry. Normally you think of Aegis, and because it's giving you tankiness and it's giving you a handful of defensive stats, normally you think of Aegis and you think of a melee carry, you think of Riplance, you think of a Jotun or something along those lines. But Drac is completely A-okay with just having all of those tanky stats be put onto the Snake instead, turning it into a very tough squad, which does also allow for additional situations where the Scoriox can actually handle late game 1-on-2s or 1-on-1s much better than a traditional Scoriox. But Scoriox is a very contested Illuvial. Everybody and their mother picks up a Snake onto their team, but there's going to be less of them in theory this time by. There are less fire players, there's only 2. And yes, people are going to splash Furioxes into their team anyway, but it's not like everybody's going for Inferno or 6 Fire this time. So if there's a chance to do it, this might be to game 2, and this is going to be a battle that I'm going to be watching for a long, long time, I imagine, because Drac and Dr. Spoon always have some fantastic battles. But I believe Dr. Spoon usually gets the best of them. Let's see how it goes here in this one. That is a very upstart with Lynx's team coming on through here for Dr. Spoon. But again, the Aegis coming on through for Drac. And I think that's going to be able to just utilize those buffs and get that the Snake, just that much more additional damage. And I love this build here as well. Essentially, to coin a poker term, Drac has the nuts here for this one, because you have the Snake, you've got the Piercing Force Reactor, which of course gives you just a flat amount, or not a flat amount, but percentage-based damage based off of max health, which is also pure damage, so it cannot be really defended against. But then, of course, in theory, then, if you're getting, no matter what, you're getting percent health damage done, then it's not about hitting hard, it's hitting fast. Well, that's where then the Hyperforce Reactor comes in, getting more attack speed every single time you attack. If we get to the point where we get Machine Gun Furiox, that can be scary. And then Aegis as well also gives attack damage, but more importantly, attack speed. So there could also be a world where if an Aegis chip gets dropped, and you can get a 4th Aegis unit, put that onto a high attack speed Illuvial, like say maybe a Fern, And this is gonna get nasty. Everybody, I am so sorry for what you are about to witness. Let's take a look and see how this ends up going. We're right along here with Drac one more time. Because, of course, the beautiful thing here as well with the Fern's Twist Wing, any of your allies that it hits gets an attack speed buff. So, if it hits that Fury, this is going to get nasty. Let's get the damage charts out here as they go up against Bondaddy Ratty. Ratty does got an Inferno chip, so I mean, there is going to be ticking damage extremely quickly. If they can deal with the Furiox, I mean, that's one way you can do it. Ace, okay, give that Arctase a raise. That thing just absolutely blew up the Fury, took away the DPS, and kept this one within range. Nice one, Bondaddy Ratty. Awake Darkness here in the chat. Yep, that's the dream. We'll see how it goes. Alright, Dr. Spoon up against Legit Von Digit. Did just pick up a little Revo, potentially looking for Gyro. We do see a Berserker imprint onto a Verminio. That's an interesting one, but I mean, a little bit of extra healing onto a Verminio might be nice. But considering there is a Rake here, that is a little surprising to me. But it's an interesting strategy. Let's see where it brings them. Let's see how this goes. Dr. Spoon does have the start of a nice little Fury as well. I believe I saw a Fern back there as well. So very similar to what we saw going on with Drac. But let's take a look. Verminio, you have a mini nuke in yourself. The Omega pops on through, a little Squall coming on through, doing a ton of damage to everything around. This is going to allow for the Rake and everything else, the Riptorus, the Revo, everything just opening fire. Heck, even the Ranger from afar are going to dive on in here, help finish the job. Absolute beauty coming out here from Legit. That's Dust Berserker 6 Air on the board here. And this is the scary part with Air, right? Because, of course, you're getting dodge, which versus high auto attack teams is beautiful. But with a lot of these high auto attack teams being fire-based and, I don't know, nature-based, those are two teams that go hyper against you, or two elements that go hyper against you. If you can dodge, you're okay. But all somebody has to do is get one augment with True Sight, and you are screwed. So it's a dangerous game to play. We'll have to see if anybody can go adapt against this, or if Legit can maybe make a little bit of a run. Let's rotate on in here. We do see the Granite Chip onto this Polar Bear. Stuns the Verminio out of the initial Squall. Gonna get the second one off. That was some good damage with the assistance of the Revo. But the Infernal Skyfall from the Rampy from Texan doing some decent work as of right now. Let's bring up the damage charts and see Rampy leading the charge for the side of Texan, but then the Rake is built up for success. The Revo will fall, but that's going to be a 5-sum coming towards that ramp fight, or the Rampy. That's not going to last very well for it. Poor little guy going to end up going down. Legit looking to make the turnaround after taking a ton of heat early. Illuvium Hunter, though, starting to get within a scary level here. Down to 21 again, winning the Lynx League, trying to make the push here into Monarch Masters. But again, we all kind of know this coming in, and everybody for the who takes the bump knows that they are absolutely the underdog here. They might have the team strategically, but levels might be a little bit out of reach. But if you can make the upset, it definitely makes for an incredible moment. Let's see here how it's going with Bondaddy Ratty and Illuvium Hunter. We do see Mystic is actually online. This is Inferno Mystic, so this is the defensive style mixed in with offense at the exact same time. And it's looking very, very good here for Bondaddy Ratty. We do see that Forest doing a ton of damage as well. Arctase, one final attempt to try and get the job done. Not going to be able to get a kill. It's not going to kill off Illuvium Hunter, but it's going to bring them down to 3, where one more could be troublesome. Let's hop on over here with Texan. They're going up against Wolverine 777. And a very slow battle as of right now, because this is about as defensive as it gets. 6 Nature plus Verdant and Mystic. This team is absolutely bloody obnoxious to try and punch through. But we do have Enchanter coming along for a little bit of additional healing and AoE damage. Can that somehow potentially be enough to punch through But the overtime pulse is coming on through. There goes the app on. Can they get onto that Adorito before it's too late? It does look like Texan has the numbers, and it looks like the numbers game is going to be too strong. Wolverine had the defense, but the overtime pulses does not give a damn. It's going to take you down. Checking in with our current lobby leader, where they stand. Here's where things get a little bit scary. We do, again, have a second piercing force reactor, so even more percentage health damage going to be done. But, again, they've had this Fury for how long? They are, what, level 7? They're going on level 8? That is going to be brutal, because you want this thing to at least be evolved into a Furiox, but with everybody going for these damn snakes, it is so tough to actually get to. But even still, the way that it's augmented, and now that's 4 Aegis online, Blotto has even arrived here as well. So Aegis now gives and shares max HP. So we see here with the Blotto for this instance, it's sharing over those HP stats over to the Singe. Just an absolute massive tank. I even like this coming out here from Drac as well. We do see putting the Phase Breaker. Normally you think of putting the Phase Breaker, breaking target ability, on top of one of your carries. But the thing is, you throw that onto a tank, a lot of times they have really good utility, and especially with Blotto, just firing blinds off over and over again on a lobby that seems to be really greedy against using True Sight. It's a fantastic opportunity. But I'm going to let this battle go on through here because we have Dr. Spoon versus Illuvium Hunter. We could very well see the knockout of Illuvium Hunter if they cannot take down the Doc. But the Doc does have a... Is that a Harbinger? No, it's a Behemoth Scoriox. If that gets online, every single... or every couple one of those auto attacks are going to be a massive stun. But some big damage coming out from the Rampy on the side of Illuvium Hunter that took down a lot. A lot of low health bars on both sides. The Inferno is ticking. The Forest is trying its damnedest, but the little snake in the corner doing some serious work. Dr. Spoon, it's up to the Arctace to get the job done. Barely going to be the win here for Illuvium Hunter. They stay in the game, but we do lose our first player. We do lose legit Bond Digit. Thank you for joining us. I hope regardless of where you finished, that you had a fun time. I'd love to have you back again sometime soon. We're going to stick here with Illuvium Hunter, because now this is going to be a tough one. Hector, on the side of Mad Dogs, does successfully have a Goliath online. So that's going to be Granite, Vanguard, coming on through 7 rogues this time as well, so maxing out on that crit chance. But having the Vanguard chip onto a Rake, especially a Rake as beautiful and dangerous as this one, is going to be so tough. And this Penguin, the Stabbin', I mean, we've seen how crazy Stabbin' can be by itself. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like you need to even evolve into a Slashin'. Just Stabbin' is good enough as is, but it's ready to snowball. This is a scary squad here for Illuvium Hunter to have to defend against. This poor little Twine is going to be sacrificed, but with every single one of these kills, that Penguin is snowballing harder and harder. It's going to take some damage, but now, look at this. The Swarm has arrived. The Arctace is going to try and carpet bomb on through, but there are so many of these rogues just nipping at you like piranhas in the sea, and that is going to be the end of Illuvium Hunter, this time by a valiant effort, especially from coming up from the Lynx League, but going to end up falling. Let's hop in and see what's going on with Dr. Spoon, because they were too also in a very low health scenario. They will fall as well. The Doctor has checked out, and it was thanks to... Was that a damn Behemoth Mammoth? Okay, no, it's just a Mammoth. I don't know where I saw a chip, but still, the Mammoth just absolutely shutting the door here. So again, Illuvium Hunter and Dr. Spoon, I thank you for joining us here today. Regardless of where you finished, I hope you had a fun time. Let's take a look at this fight here with our lobby leader up against Texan. Again, Texan, the first time we're seeing them here inside of the Illuvium Arena House League. We have a couple of big upgrades coming on through. And in this fight in particular, Jotun has arrived. So you got a big mammoth and a big polar bear coming to absolutely wreck your day. And with Enchanter on top of this, this will have additional sustain. But again, it's Drac's team. We see how much damage this Fury can do, especially with the addition of all this percent health-based damage. But can it actually get souped up? Can it get that attack speed going? Because it needs those auto attacks once the Twist Wing from that Fur Knight comes through to get the most out of that Hyperforce reactor. There goes the Twist Wing going directly towards that Quake, so it gets some serious value in terms of the amount of targets hit. But look at this team, it's just not dying. As it stands here right now, that is going to be Texan, I think, holding the line. The Fury's gone. Gosh, does this team ever look scary? With a full health Polar Bear and Mammoth in your face, that is going to be some big damage to Drac. Finally, the Furiox has arrived. Took forever considering so many players are going after this damn thing, but it's finally going to evolve. Like a stubborn Pikachu refusing to touch the Thunderstone, finally, the Furiox will arrive. We have some potential knockouts here into this one. Hector could potentially get the kill shot here onto Bondaddy Ratty, but then Wolverine also within kill shots, but the Blazonite has arrived. Let's take a look and see how this one ends up going. I'm going to stick here with Wolverine. I think this one might be the fastest. We'll take a look. When it looks like one player is going to win, I'll try to make the switch because I want to see what's going on with Ratty as well. Fully evolved Gnarl in the front line, trying to hold the line for as long as possible. But this actually looks like a stalemate, and holy hell did I call that wrong. Bondaddy Ratty got murked within 15 seconds of that fight. The Rogues just absolutely got them. So the chase for the first win here for Bondaddy Ratty will continue to elude them for now. GG's Ratty, hope you had a fun time no matter what. I'm looking forward to casting your tournament tomorrow. As we continue this fight here with Wolverine, the Behemoth, the Polar Bear, and the Mammoth. Right in the front line, that Furiox is getting charmed, it's stunned, it's getting all of the crowd control effects thrown at it, and it's finally going to be the lunch of the Polar Bear, and that Shoebill might be some nice crispy chicken on the way out. So we're going to see Wolverine fall in 4th, Bondaddy Ratty going to fall in 5th. And Drac making the call out. Texan with 4 Granite is definitely going to be a tough team to beat. Because especially if you get a Granite chip onto maybe the Polar Bear. Because normally when you get Granite, you get a little bit of additional invulnerability. Just kind of once at the start. You get tankier, but then that's basically it, right? But once you get 4 Granite, every 20 seconds, that Granite effects re-trigger. So especially up against, I don't know, bursty teams that rely on Omegas or rely on combos, Texan is actually in a pretty great spot. But at the end of the day, who's going to complain about just being invulnerable for a couple of seconds every few seconds in a fight? So this is going to be interesting. We've got the Rogues coming out here from Hector, and they've got basically everything they could look for with the exception of Malura. That's the only problem. Malura is still here, wishing it was the big ol' Star Mole, but we do see Slashin coming on through, and we've got legendary augments to finish off the job, including this one here for the Slashin, the Absorption Cells, basically going to allow it to snowball even harder. It's basically the Echoing Force Reactor, but on crack. We'll have to see how that turns out Slashin', because it's got to still go up against this absolute behemoth of a Polar Bear. As it stands right now, the Rogues, Hector, making Rogues look godlike right now. Slashin', can you get the job done? The Phase Breakers are making things at least a little bit difficult, but now the Penguin's got its hands on the Polar Bear. Screw nature, we're going to switch it around. Penguin's the top of the food chain this time. And now the Slashin' right back on top, right beside the Pterodactyl, right beside the Rampite. Texan has been taken down. Hector, could they be looking for their first win here in Monarch Masters? And then Drac Nien was going up against Texan, but Texan was able to beat Drac. But how does it go when Hector plays Drac? Here, this is going to be the battle we're definitely going to take a look at. Let's flip this around, actually. Let's see the Rogues as they dive on forth onto the team. This is going to get scary. Let's get the economy out. There's one last potential time here for Drac, unless they can turn this around. I have a lot of faith right now in the team that Hector has built. But again, this is Drac's tried and true. And if there is one player who has slammed their wall up against Rogues with a corner composition that has the experience to maybe deal with this, it would be Drac. So let's look and see how this goes. We see all these Rogues looking for a hole, But the thing is the Blotto is slow as hell, so it does not move really far at all, which closes a lot of holes for everything except maybe a Ranger. Let's see how it goes. Nope, even the Ranger got pushed aside. So the Blotto going to go untargetable right as the blind comes on through. That Penguin does not have true sight, so there could be the saving grace here for Drac if they can keep that Furiox pumping long enough to maybe shoot down that Penguin. As of right now, Drac is holding the line. The Penguin has been stopped by this Blotto so many times. The Forest is sitting there as well. The Adorito doing percent health healing as well. An absolute masterclass on how to handle the rogues coming out here from Drac. So Drac can beat Hector, but Texan can beat Drac. We have a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors kind of scenario going on forth here. Oh, Texan with the thorn in the side to Hector. I did not realize that Texan actually had the Malura. So of course I do believe in a perfect world you can have 2 fully evolved tier 3 units, but it's hard as hell to hit. Hector found it anyway, though, or was I counting that backwards? No, that was Hector's team. I'm completely counting it backwards. So now we do have in this battle here, this Malura is not actually going to be going very far. No, am I passing us backwards again? Yeah, I'm casting us backwards. It's Texan with the Malura. But let's see how it goes. Here comes the first squall from the Vermiliere. Some big damage alongside the ramp fight. Good shots coming on through here. Got lost for a second, but now here we go. Slashing, what do you got in the tank? It's doing a ton of damage right now. Inferno Skyfall again, going to pop some of that mid section of that bunker. But the carries in this team have essentially not been touched, but now they will. The front line has fallen. The Goliath is nowhere where it needs to be. The first stun coming on through, but it's going to end up falling, and that is going to be Hector taken down by Texan. Drac, are you still in the game? They're going up against Texan here as well. Bunkered up composition. This battle's still going. And actually, for Drac, they might have lost their Furiox, but the Blastonite's actually making up for it in terms of the damage. And there we go. Drac was on the brink of death, but they are still in this game. So now it's going to be Texan going up against Drac, but then Drac is up against Hector. Tail of tape in regards to team. So again, this is for a six nature with Wildfire and Magma. This is the Drac Classic. With all these rogues diving onto the Magma, best case scenario. Meanwhile, Spore, Earth, the rogues, the Vanguards, they are here, they're ready to wreck. Everybody has spent everything in the bank. Let's get a better angle here on this battle as it goes on forth here and see how it goes. Can the Rake, can the Slashin', can the Carry stay alive? Can that damn Slashin' stay away from the Blotto? Because look at that blind. It's stopping them so often. No true sight in hand. Going for full damage. The Furiox and the Blastonite have not been touched yet here on the side of Drakien. And now the Slashin' has been targeted. It's already popped its phase breaker. The safety net is gone. And with that, Hector, the rogues are going to get absolutely slammed. Hector is out of here. Texan, how did you do versus Drac? This is a battle still going, and this one is a much closer one. In fact, Texan might have the read in this instance here with the Furiox going down again. So Texan still going to stand tall with 35. What could either of these players potentially do for an upgrade? They're going to get a nice influx of credits here thanks to this massive NPC round. Couple of augments, couple of additional addition and credits coming on through. If there's one thing I have to say that could be in theory of coaching, Drac, get some true sight. And every single dodge is going to cost you dearly in this fight here versus all of these very beefy air units. They have the air sight, or the air sight, the true sight there, thanks to the Lucid Pulse Reactor. So the safety net here for the side of Texan, they've got that on lock. 40 credits compared to the 38 here for Drac. Drac, what could they upgrade? They're looking for Scoriox. Couple of foes coming onto the board here as well, because we do see the one upgrade that Texan can do is into a phosphorus. And if you get a phosphorus cleaving through this bunker, you're screwed. Scoriox, download complete. They have arrived. They have the big carry they're potentially looking for, but in these last couple of battles, the Scoriox has been destroyed. Can they somehow deal with it? Texan all in, does not land any more foes. They sell the Goliath, get one more foe onto the bench. But that's it, nothing else here. Here it goes, one for the ages. Or the Aegis, rather, in this instance, it seems. So let's take a look. Drac in a fantastic spot, fighting on top of the magma. The Wildfire Nature going to be coming on through rather nicely. But again, so much air and so much granite, making it so that so many of these attacks are just becoming moot. They're not doing a damn thing. Scoriox is hanging on for a while, but there's still a lot of high health bars onto all these granite units. A good heal from that Arito going to keep Scoriox alive for just a little bit longer. Shots all fired onto that Ranger that popped that shield. That's why we love the Sprout Guard. The Ranger ended up being the main tank when it mattered most. And welcome to House League, Texan. You're going to be a winner in the Monarch Masters. Congratulations. Texan with an absolute beautiful performance on their first time here in House League, or at least first time in a while. Incredible job there. Heck, the Ranger often gets overshadowed in team compositions, but we see right there why that unit should not be slept on. That shield tanked so much. Additional shield scaling. They used the fortified barrier, the additional augment you could put onto it. Just make that shield huge. A Granite Enchanter coming on through there from Texan. GG's. Drac the end with an incredible performance, considering you hadn't even finished your damn coffee yet this morning. Pulling off a fantastic battle. GG's and congratulations on second. Rounding up our podium, gonna be Hector. Fantastic efforts. Making the Rogue squad work. Just could not keep that Penguin safe in the end. Wolverine 777 hype with a solid run here as well, with a Wildfire Verdant based kind of composition. Bon Daddy Ratty with the Inferno. Tried to go for it, but again, very contested units overall. Dr. Spoon gonna fall a little bit short compared to their average, but that's a-okay. We're just having a fun time here overall here in the Illuvium Arena House League. Gonna fall in 6th. Illuvium Hunter, the bump up from the Lynx League after winning that one. One for Inferno, but so did many others, and that will lead them here on 7th. Then Legit Bondage going to fall in 8th place. One for a very heavy Dust Berserker squad. Couldn't quite get it working this time by, but that's okay. There'll be more to come. Would love to see you all again. Holy moly, that was fun. Alright, so Texan, Drac, and Hector. We've got you documented. You'll be receiving some additional prizing here on Wednesday. So again, everybody who won prizes in regards to the Illuvium packs. Of course, the auto drone run did close, and again, I'm still very, very sad and upset about that, because that essentially takes away people from joining the game who don't want to use crypto. Because of course, auto drone runs were the only way you can do it, by buying fuel and then getting credit card or using a credit card. So with the way that it's currently set, I'm still very upset about it, because not everybody wants to use crypto and it makes it hard to grow the game. But in terms of prizing for Illuvium Arena House League, nothing changes for how you have to handle it. You'll still be receiving Illuvials from me after opening them on stream on Wednesday. We're going to do a bit of a double. We're going to do all of the missing auto drone runs from last week's House League that got delayed due to the auto drone run being shut down. Then we will do this week's as well. A bit of a double dose, sort of speak. And we're just going to do that by opening it on Deathmatch itself. Thankfully, they do have a bulk open option. And then I'll send them to the Illuvidex, which in then turn gets sent to you. So we'll get that as quick as possible. In regards to my two Carablus, in regards to the the community rescue prizing. So what I had recently done again, the Silence House Community Rescue is something that I just started building over the last couple of weeks. And first and foremost, this is to help fuel Carablu Cup to have Illuvials that they can then upgrade with. Like, we have a lot of our Carablus right now that are missing maybe just 2 or 3 more Illuvials to the point where they get elevated into Lynx League. And this is here to help all the newcomers, whether they're starting from scratch or whether they're winning Carablu Cup. They can help slowly but surely load their collection just strictly off of playing the game, which cannot be naturally done in Illuvium. Especially now that auto drone runs are gone, because you can't even get fuel rewards and do auto drones in. So what was already hard is now even harder. But what I'll do, you'll notice I had put points next to the community section. I have basically every Illuvial listed by points, listed by their tier. So tier 1s or 0s and 1s cost 1 point, and 2s, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, so on and so forth. The big stage 2s for the tier 5s and the stage 3s, I do put behind a player base influence. But the stage 1 tier 5, I'm okay with giving that out. So with it being 5 points, and both Robertaccio and Ethit have over 5 points, I'll see what I can spare, and see what you need. But we're going to do what we can to get you an upgrade onto your team. Or not an upgrade, a first. Because that's what I'm mainly looking for. I'm looking to fill something that you don't already have. And that's the main point of the community rescue. There is also a little bit of a secondary motive, and no, it's not me to sell them online, I promise you that. But the idea... I know this is Web3, but come on now. The main point is that because deathmatch is now a thing, and a lot of these Illuvials, of course, are getting killed off through deathmatch, there is a world where Illuvials could potentially go endangered. And trying to get a hand on certain Illuvials sometime down the road may not be doable. So with the community rescue, main idea is I want to have 2. So if breeding is ever implemented into either Obelisk Rising, or what I'm more so hoping, into Illuvium 0, that we can keep that species alive through the community rescue. So that's going to be the 2 main goals here of community rescue. Carablu Cup prizing first and foremost, but also preservation, so that none of these Illuvials go endangered or extinct. I might be crazy for thinking that way, and honestly, best case scenario, I don't have to use this for that way. But I just want to make sure, for the long term of the game, I want somebody who starts the game in 2030 to be able to get whatever Illuvial they want. I'm not saying it would be a good one, but I want everybody to be able to experience every Illuvial. So that's the goal. But with that, that was a hell of a lot of fun. I hope everybody had a fantastic time. Texan, we need to talk. I'm guessing that's in regards to the Ballura. But yes, GG's. And thank you all for all the positivity over stream here today, and all in between streams as well. I know sometimes I can get a little emo on Discord, and I thank you all for the uplifting words and the positivity that everybody's been sending. It definitely helps me a ton during those hard days where I'm kind of second guessing myself, and like just kind of in my own head, so to speak. You just pull me out of it pretty often. So I thank you so much about that. And events like these, and just having you all with me week after week, is why we do it. And if you're having a fun time, again, make sure you're subbed to the channel if you have not done so already, because we're going to be doing this again tomorrow, the Ratty Data season finale. We have the top 8 for that one going to be happening tomorrow. It's 3 o'clock my time, I believe 12 p.m. ET, if I recall correctly. But in fact, let me pull that up before I close on out to showcase exactly who we're looking at. we're going to be casting this event here. It's a best of 3. And that will be featuring... Give me a second here. So Bart from Atlas, so I believe that's Fox Spirit, or at the very least, that's Fox Spirit's account. We've got Injoroa, who I haven't seen in a little bit, so it's cool to see that they're still playing, making it into this season finale grand final. Wolverine 77 Hype, Dr. Spoon, Texan, Drachnia, and Hector. We saw them all in competition here today during House League. I'm sure we're going to love to see them go at it again, but not just the classic best of 1 like we do here in House League, but in a long-term best of 3 kind of scenario. Looking forward to seeing that battle as well. And then Nariba, one of the esports pros that kind of bounces between, I guess, TFT and Illuvium. Well, they've made their way into the top 8 here as well. And if, God forbid, somebody doesn't show up for tomorrow, we do have Nocacho and Oli Frodo coming on through here as well. Potentially Tank the Bank and Zyfed and Tallulah. Moth Puck as well, potentially. So a handful of people that could potentially fill on in. But this is kind of our tail of the tape for tomorrow's event. Arguably, if I'm going to pick a favorite as of right now, if Bart is Fox Spirit, they're arguably going to be the favorite. However, we've seen where that's landed Fox in the past, where they're the favorite, and it doesn't necessarily live up to the expectation, so to speak. And that's not meant to be a shot at Fox. Just when it comes to a best of 3 play, sometimes the consistency just doesn't hit there. But granted, it's also a small sample size as well. We don't have very many tournaments, and I know Fox doesn't compete in best of 1 stuff like we do here with House League, and that's okay. A-okay. They're grinding the leaderboards. There's a reason why we see them always on the leaderboard, because they definitely pick and choose when they can hop into a competitive setting. And that's A-okay. But if I wasn't going to pick Fox Spirits... Oh... I don't think I can make that choice. I don't think I can make that choice, so I guess I'm just going to have to be a little bit of a dickhead and just say we're going to have to find out tomorrow to say that one, because I genuinely cannot pick a favorite between these, because everybody, I've not seen everybody in a best of 3 setting, and there's a lot of big names and good names here, so I can't make a choice. I genuinely can't. I'm not trying to cop out, but it's genuinely going to be tough. So again, we'll be back at it again tomorrow for that one. It's going to be a fun time again, 3 o'clock, so basically same time like we started today, just half hour earlier. And it will be an absolute blast. Looking forward to that one. And thank you to Bon Daddy Righty for asking me if I can cast it. And last but not least, Fox, if great in 1v1, not in the same in a 1v7. I mean, if you're getting targeted too, that's a whole nother thing, right? When points start becoming on the line, people can target your builds or target whatever you're contesting. That's definitely a thing. A couple of different dynamics compared to a standard leaderboard, that's for sure. Standard ranked game, that's for sure. But with that, we shall be closing out for today. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in, competed, just chilled, hung out. This was fun. And I would not be doing this. I know it's cliche and it's whatnot, but wouldn't be doing this without you. And I definitely thank you so much. It's my 1 year of creating content as Silent this week coming up, and it's all of yous that keep me pushing to do it. So thank you so much. We'll go right back at it again tomorrow for the Ratty Data season finale. See you then.
Woke up tired, didn't sleep all night. Mine's still running like a traffic light. Red for stop and green for go. I'm stuck somewhere in between them both. Brushed my teeth and checked my phone. Everyone looks like they've already grown. Smiling faces, perfect lives. I'm here asking, what am I doing with mine? I don't have a plan, I just have today. Trying not to throw the little good away. Heart's still heavy, but I'm still here. Taking one small step through the fear. I'm tired, but I'm not giving up. I'm scared, but I'm still showing up. One small step is enough today. I'm not fine, but I'm on my way. I'm tired, but I'm not giving up. I'm scared, but I'm still showing up. One small step is enough today. I'm Not fine, but I'm on my way.